Hello. You join me on a lovely sunny Sunday morning. It's a little bit windy out, but it's gorgeous here in the greenhouse. And it's appropriate that the sun's come out because we're sowing sunflowers. And the one I'm sowing today is a dwarf sunflower, but the same principle will go for any sunflower you choose to sow. And I'm hoping that many of you are joining me for the sunflower sow along, which we're doing through the Gardeningin and Gardeningin Seaford Facebook pages. These seeds here are from Morrison's. They've been given them out free, the supermarket. So not a sponsored video if you're watching on YouTube. This is just, people been going along and just asking at the tills or the kiosk, have you got any of those sunflower seed? Here we go. If you're in the Seaford area, I've got a couple of spare packs, so you can always message me. I might still have some. And let's start. So let's tear off the top there. There are nice big seeds, sunflower seeds. Get quite a few seeds in there. And what I'm going to do is sow just one per pot. So I'm going to use some small pots. Right, so what I've got is just some little pots like this. They're just reused pots, been disinfected or sterilised, and I'm just filling them full of this potting mix that I've already wet through and then mixed in well the water. This potting mix is quite extravagant for sunflowers really. Any multi-purpose will get the seed germinating fine. But we're just going to add, say, to that, so it's sort of roughly level, and then using a full pot just to gently firm down. That will just get rid of any air pockets. If you're dealing with quite a heavy, say, soil-based compost, you can just give it a tap instead of that press down. Right, now all we do is, there's two ways we can do this. We want to plant about between 1 to 2 centimetres deep. So either we can go 1 to 2 centimetres from the top, or we can fill it pretty much to the top and go down. So I'm going to show you both methods, and you can choose what works best for you. Now this mix here, just to quickly mention, this is a professional growing media which has perlite in. And you really don't need to worry too much about that. I think that this will give them the best possible start. Anything with perlite or vermiculite mixed in. This is the one that I filled to just 2 centimetres from the top, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to press it down into the soil. I prefer to have them on their edge like this, just because I think there's less chance, if you're using quite a heavy compost or you've done it a little bit early and it's still a bit cold, of them rotting. But to be honest with you, toss them in there, they'll be fine. Then I'm just filling back over and very gently firming with another filled pot. Brush off off the edge there. That's the first one sown. Now if I've decided to go up to my top level, I now need to go down, and you can use either your finger if you're quite good at judging what a centimetre is. You can use a dibber like this which has the measurement on it. What works quite well is a pencil or just a piece of wood like that. And what you can do is you can just measure where to go. So on this one, just using a Sharpie. The only thing is when you're marking like this with permanent marker, what you quite find is when you use a dark compost, wet compost, you're generally losing your marks. But it just helps you gauge for the first one or two. And what I've done here is I've marked the first one there 1 centimetre, and then that's 2 centimetres. So I know I want to be somewhere between that when I'm going down, and I just, in the centre of the pot, just press down. And that's got me my hole there. and then I can just put a little bit on the top if I want, and just firm down, and that's that one done. Another one here. So again, we can still see our marks okay, which is nice. Just between 1 to 2 centimeters there. Get the seed, and you can see with this one, I'm just having to throw the seed down, so I'm not worried about whether it's on its edge, whether it's up, whether it's down. Just popping it in there, little bit on top, and that down. That's it. So if you were sowing quite early, you might want to do the bit where you put the seed in on its side and then fill up. If you're sort of sowing any time from April onwards, you'll probably be all right just with this method. I'm putting just one per pot. You can put more if you want. Now I'm going to go over and directly sow some into the garden itself. So here we are in one of my new square foot raised beds, and we're going to be planting just here. So I'm going to pop in these sunflowers into 2 squares. One is just the furthest square at the front there, so that one there, and then I'm going to sow in that one there. So let's zoom in. First, what I need to do is water, and I prefer to water before I sow, so that then I'm not washing the seed around. I'm planting in this square here, and I've just given it a quick water because actually it was still damp right below the soil level, and this was watered in a few days ago. This is the first seed I'm actually planting in my square foot beds, and all I'm going to do is just like I've done in the pots really. It's going to be 1 centimetre to 2 centimetres deep, and I'm going to plant 4 in this square. So the easiest way to work out how to evenly plant 4 large seeds in a square foot, as this is a square foot garden, is just to go down the middle and then down the middle like that, and then you'll be planting there, there, there and there. So it's across and then 4 holes in the little squares that you've made. I'm planting these, as you can see, hopefully about 2 centimetres deep out here. I'm hoping that will keep the pigeons from getting to them, because we've got lots of wood pigeons. And hopefully as well, if we get any field mice come over, it's going to stop that. Right, I've got my seeds. There's one going in there, one going in there, one in there, and then the last one in there. And I'll do the same for my other square in a moment. Now, as far as staking is concerned, you don't need to stake these unless it's extremely windy. So you just firm down the planting mix that you've got in here, just like this. Let's move it over. That's done. Don't need to water it in, I've already watered. And hopefully in something like, I'd say 10 to 24 days, I should outside here see them start to come up. I have seen these when they're sown indoors on a windowsill come up within about 4 days. And I'd love to see you sowing and growing your sunflowers, the progress as they go. So please do comment below here or share on the Gardeningin Facebook pages and groups. Just wishing you every success and some blooming marvellous sunflowers.